Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 do. Subscribe if you're interested. Hey, I just kind of wanted to talk out loud about The Bear Season 2. Just finished it. Took me, what, 2, 3 days? Something like that. I think 3 days to watch it. We watched 2 episodes. Then we watched up until the long episode. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. That one long episode. And then came back for the third day to finish the thing out. Just finished it maybe 30 minutes ago or something like that. But I thought this season, excuse me, was absolutely great. They stepped it up, and I don't know how they did it because I just love the first season. The first season was so good. I've only gone through the first season one time, but I thought it was so strong. Let me see if I can straighten this out a little bit. Yeah, I thought that first season was so strong. It was kind of contained for the most part. We're hanging out in the beef, and then we find out at the end that the beef is going to be turned into the bear, right? And that's sort of where we're at here in this season, where we are watching that progress, that very difficult process. We see how hard it is to start a restaurant, and we're starting, we're going from a sandwich shop to a restaurant, right? So that's a pretty big leap, but it's in Carmen's world. Our head character, our lead character, that is what he is more comfortable with, where in the first season he is jumping into this arena that he's not as comfortable with because he's more accustomed to fine dining, right? Things like that. And here he's swapping it. He's like, okay, this is my arena, and he's bringing the people who are in the beef to the bear, right, to his style of restaurant. And the coolest part about this season is all of this crew that he had sort of adopted through the beef. He's like, you know what, I like all of you. You are great. I'm going to provide these opportunities for you while we are building this place so that you can basically hone your skills in preparation for what we're about to do. And you get these like episodes that are focused on these characters, but like they get their own episode. What these people who used to be very much on the side, they have their own episode now, which is very cool. Heavily focused on their skills and the skills they're trying to build, right? So we have Marcus, who is like the baker, the dessert chef, and he goes to Denmark, and then he trains under he's a very famous actor now. His eyebrows are kind of pointy. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He's in Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He's in like We Are the Millers. I can't think of his name right now, but oh, I probably shouldn't mention that. You know what? So I guess I spoiled that one, but I'm not gonna talk about, because they have some larger actors in here, more established, well-known people. So that's the one I'm gonna give away. I'm not gonna give away anymore. But we see Marcus go to Denmark to train, and that's just like a really great, touching episode, and very, very contained, but in a new location. We're not in the beef. We're not in the building location, building site for the bear. And I really liked that. I thought that was a great episode, one of my favorites of the season. But I think my favorite of the season, and we get that with a lot of people. We get that with two characters. Let's see, what is her name? Tina or Trina? I can't remember now. And Ibra, they go to culinary school, right? They're learning how to be chefs in this new environment. So they have that opportunity. So one's in Denmark, two are going to school. We have, what else? I mean, I know there are more, but I guess I'll just get into my favorite one, because we also have Cousin, or Richie, and he gets an episode where he's just kind of causing a lot of trouble at the building site as they're trying to get this together. But he sort of gets sent away, not necessarily because he's obnoxious and everything, but for training to this like greatest restaurant in the world, one of the greatest restaurants in the world, right? And then he gets a lot of training there, and that episode was like one of my favorite episodes of television ever, and that one's called Forks. Each episode is like titled like a single word, like bolognese, honeydew. Honeydew was the one with Marcus where he's learning desserts and everything. That one was very good. But yeah, cousin, his episode is um, called Forks, and it is a great one. There's also this. I mean, I was had goosebumps the entire time during that episode. I was like getting teary eyed. I was like cheering. It was just like so intense. Also, there was a lot of great moments to it. But I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself because earlier there was an extra long episode, which was really cool. And it takes us to some places I think that were unexpected. I wasn't expecting it anyway, and I thought the way that they told us what this episode was about or was good. I'm trying to be cryptic as possible, but yeah, there's an extra long episode in the season that was just very well done and had a lot of surprises in it, and it was just really cool. But another thing that's great, they do a lot of interesting, artful filmmaking. In the final episode, I think it's okay to say this, we have the kitchen, but we also have where the dining is happening in, and we're getting different scores as we are moving in between those spaces, and I just thought that was so well done. So we were following a character, and then they like walk into the kitchen, and then the score changes, and then they walk into the dining area, and then the score changes back to what it was, and I thought that was all really well done. It's a much more artfully put together show than you might expect. Great soundtrack also. I think I know there's a lot of Pearl Jam. I remember Pearl Jam happening. I think there was maybe REM, I think, was also going on. But great soundtrack, great score. All of that was very good, fit very well. When I think of Pearl Jam, obviously I think of Seattle. This is a very Chicago show, very Chicago, heavily Chicago, very Chicago. And I don't know, maybe it would have been cool to get like some Chicago bands. Where's REM from? I don't know where REM is from. That was REM, right? I think. But maybe if they had Chicago-fied it a little bit, but I don't know. When you are watching the show and you hear the Pearl Jam, sure they're from Seattle and everything, but I felt like it clicked together with the visuals that you're seeing. So somebody who doesn't know where Pearl Jam's from, or the music of Chicago, they're not gonna think twice about it. They're just gonna hear music that fits the scene very well. So in that sense, it works really well. But I was just like, I'm surprised they didn't use Chicago music, right? But the pairing it worked, even if it wasn't a Chicago band. Let's see, we're introduced to a lot of characters that we hadn't met before, and they all have pivotal parts. I also liked how there were there were callbacks to old episodes, callbacks to the previous season, and there were just like these little visual nods you'd see in the background, maybe written on a wall, or an image on the wall, or something you would see that you'd be like, oh, I remember that from the previous episode. There's a little connection there. I'm supposed to be picking up on that. And all that was very well done. So like the mise en scène is very important and makes cool connections for you, the viewer, that maybe the characters aren't connecting. They're not connecting those dots. What they're seeing maybe has nothing to do with them. In some cases it does, but not in every case. In the cases where it's just for you, I think is really well done. It's well done in every sense, every purpose that they do it. But I don't know, The Bear season 2 I thought was really good. My favorite episode was probably Forks, and I really liked Honeydew. And then there was one, I don't know what the title of it was. I wish I could remember. Maybe it's just called I think maybe it's called Seven Fishes. Maybe it's called the Baronzades. What are they called? The Barut. I can't remember what their last name is. Basically, it's a big family get together. I'm not trying to spoil too much. Big family get together type episode. But yeah, anyway, are you watching The Bear? The Bear is great. I guess I'm watching it on Hulu, but it says it's presented by FX. I don't know if it is on FX because they just dropped all the episodes on Hulu. And I guess if it's on FX, maybe they're rolling them out slowly. And it does feel like there were commercial breaks that they plucked out. So I don't know. Is this on Hulu? Or sorry, is this on normal TV? I haven't watched normal TV in years, so I don't even know. But they do have those cut to black moments where it does feel like you're watching a TV show that doesn't cut to a commercial because you're watching it like on DVD or something like that. But in this case, we're watching it on streaming. So those moments are a tiny bit awkward, but again, I just sort of was like, well, the show's on FX, so that's why. But I don't know if it is because it said Hulu original, so who knows? Anyway, are you watching it? What did you think? What was your favorite episode? I'd love to know. Do you think this season is better than the first one? I think it might be. I mean, both are great. Can you believe that? 2 seasons back to back that are just high quality. And I don't think I disliked a single episode in well, either season. Did everything sort of that I wanted it to do, but didn't feel predictable. I don't think. It was great. I like the pressure. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Whiplash a little bit, and also just work. It reminds me of work. I mean, that's kind of what it's about. Laborers, people at the job, on the job, workers, people who are out there working. It just reminded me of like jobs that I've had working at the grain elevator, working at the movie theater, like those types of jobs where things gotta be quick, gotta run smoothly. There's no like rest period or anything like that. And if there is a rest period, it's after some extremely heavy, fast-paced work. Anyway, again, I know I've said this so many times. I've almost finished this vlog reaction review multiple times, but I keep coming up with other things to think about. Anyway, again, my question to you is, I got a lot of questions. Are you watching this show? What's your favorite episode? Which season do you prefer? Do you have a favorite character? Because I think I walked away from this season with Cousin being my favorite character, where I think Carmen, the bear, was my favorite in the previous one. Neil is great. I love seeing Neil. I mean, he's great in both seasons. But yeah, who was my favorite? I think this season I've moved to. I think I've moved to Richie. I've moved to Cousin. He goes by both names, and I'd love to see him win an Emmy. I think I would like to see a lot of people win an Emmy from this show. It's just so good. It is great. Oh my goodness, I'm not even done yet because I got more to say. Sydney, our co-lead, her dad is what's his name? Townsend, Meteor Man. Her dad is Meteor Man. What's his name? Townsend. I can't think of his first name right now. Robert Townsend, is that? I can't think of his first name. But anyway, Meteor Man, love him. Hollywood Shuffle. That was so cool to see him. I think he is one of the I don't know. I loved watching him as a kid in Meteor Man and reading his story in Hollywood and being a producer, director, all of that. I don't know. I just think he's a really cool guy. Anyway, it was really exciting to see him. And there are other people. I know I said I wasn't going to drop up big names, but there are other people in the show that I think people will, get excited about. So anyway, I know I've said it. I keep trying to end it and I can't. Favorite episode, favorite character, which season is your favorite? All of those things. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.